Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Faye Channing and it's so great to have you here to hear the latest energy updates that's happening in the collective and beyond to share with you today. So if you're here or you've just come across my page, like and subscribe to stay on this journey of keeping yourself up to date with this energy. So my name is Faye Channing. I am a channeler, a multi-dimensional channeler and psychic and medium. So my job here in this world is to basically just to transfer communication to you all. Really interesting when we tap into this need for feminine to use the voice, females to step into their voice and their power. And the reason for this, and it's been dropping into the collective more and more and more as this kind of mission for females to start using their voice, is because we really need this connection with the earth and what she needs, because she's going to go for a rebirth and she will start to basically ignite these natural disasters, because she needs to go through this rebirth and she's not being listened to. And this is really getting fed into the feminine and to use the voice of self-expression. And I can't express enough how much this is needed now for females to come into using their voice and to actually be really connected to those yeses and nos, and to really understand that actually sometimes that this feeling behind wanting to use your voice isn't just for you. It can also be part of all the voices that wanted to say yes before, but couldn't and said no. And this is quite a big collective shift that we're going into with the feminine. And it's really amazing because we're not excluding the masculine, because the masculine is going to become space holders in so many beautiful ways to allow the feminine to be heard as well. But a lot of females will start to feel this, they'll start to come into this like, this doesn't feel right, or this is out of alignment, I'm going to go and do something about it. But in order for us to really get to those points, we have to let go of this ego orientated capitalism, very masculine driven world. We have to be the ones to step out of that in order to create space to help, revise the way that we're living, and actually just step in and go, actually, no, we need a better way. And within that, that is community. Within that, that is really coming together. Because when we think of the feminine is the heart of the home, the earth, bringing people together. We need this in community as well. Because what I'm starting to sense is that a lot of us will start to wake up to this need and this requirement that's going to be felt in our systems from the earth, but a kind of staggering energy to actually implement that. And you can't stay in the mind thinking about it too much. You have to come into your body and just say yes and allow life to guide you in the way that it needs to. Allow yourself just to land where it needs to. Allow yourself just to be connecting to things that you need to be connected with in order to do what you need to do. But there's still this kind of mind stuff going on where it's like, oh, actually, I still need to be seen, or I still need to, do this, that, and the other. And it's actually, well, that's completely out the window when you're looking at what is actually needed. And I mean that in the nicest way, but we have to get to a point now where we're actually listening rather than ignoring and still going along with what hasn't been working. We need the leaders to come in now. We need those that are actually going to change things to come in and change stuff now, because there's still a lot of fluff around who is a leader and who isn't. And I send that, I mean that with love, but actually not everyone is meant to be a leader. Sometimes we are those that support leaders, or we are still in that mechanism to make something happen. However, we need those that are feeling that to come in now and start to drive the way and say no, and to start bringing that energy in more. So within all that, it's quite an interesting time for the feminine, because we will go through these challenges of self-expression and feeling like we can't use our voice, or feeling like we are underneath the ship a bit in deep waters, and we need to actually allow ourselves to come out now and start to sail the ship into the direction that we want. And there is a message for everyone here that Spirit has told me, is that actually we need to start bringing our focus into exactly what it is that we're focusing on. So there has to be a level of discipline here from each and every one of us, not just moving away from the feminine message now and coming into more collective. We need that real strong concentration, discipline. This is what I'm focusing on because this feels right, instead of allowing all this distraction to come in and take you away from actually when things come into your psyche and into your heart and it's felt like this is what I need to do, not allow yourself to go off track. It's so easily done. Trust me, because we have these that are designed to do that. But also, life is distracting, it's designed to do that. So we're having to really come into our power now and say, actually, no, I'm just focusing on this and this is what I'm here to do. And I'm actually going to just be with this one thing at this moment in time. I'm not going to listen to my phone. I'm not going to allow anyone to pull you out, because what's quite interesting is when you are focusing on that one thing and you're allowing yourself just to be in that one thing, how much things will try and take you away from what you're doing. And also when you're about to allow yourself to move almost like in a more alignment with yourself. So maybe you're moving house, changing jobs, location, or you're just having a rebirth yourself. It's just very interesting to watch what tries to take your attention away from you leveling up, let's just say. And this is all coming up now. So it's funny how certain people will start to drag you down or want to drag you down before you level up, or they're just not in the same frequency as you. And it's not to say you're better than them or not, it's just how it is. And it is usually because of the level of work that we've done on ourselves, is how we move and shape and shift, because we're meant to change. And some people don't like that. So within all this space, there's so much change going on. And within that, there's this like kind of need for like concentration, coming back to what it is that you're meant to be doing and feeling that, and actually being okay with that, and not allow yourself to get caught up in all the news and designed theatre shows that like to pull you out of that space. We've also got a lot of galactic support coming in, and this has been happening for some time now. It's not real news, even though you'll see a lot of channelers say, oh, you're going to see ETs next year. Well, most of us are hybrids anyway, and we have been working with them for many years, so it's not really big news. And I keep sharing this again and again and again, because what we're starting to see now is another opening up to this ET contact. And the one kind of species that does seem to be coming forwards at the moment is this praying mantis and mantis race, and they're something that's popped into my world as well recently. But there is a lot of negative connotations with them, and it's interesting because you can read and research so much around this race. And this is something that I've done, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm comfortable with them coming into my space. But actually, when I feel into their presence and working with them, they're actually here to help us realize how much we need to focus on the planet and not be ignoring all these signals anymore. And I think most ETs, majority of races, are trying to do that. They're trying to bring us into this understanding of how vital and important this is. And when I say looking after the planet, it's like just actually going to maybe grow some veg, or going to help replant some trees, or maybe it's actually learning a bit more about the conservationist part of your land and understanding actually, what is the water like where I live, and how can I get involved in these community projects and start to understand this makeup of where I live, and how can I support that, because that's what they're really trying to do. So I've started to kind of work with them, this mantis alien race, to understand what it is that they want me to do. I think the reason why this need for resources and to support the land and start working with the earth, and the females start using their voices, it all comes back to the earth, all these messages, because we're going to start to lose control, the space and ability to actually do something about it. There's a lot of, those kind of slight warnings, but they feel like they're getting stronger to where they were last year. So I'm just coming on to sort of repeat that. Just going to see if there's anything else. So there's a lot of surrendering that needs to happen in order for us to really understand what is needed. And a lot of us are still trying to fight against this surrendering. There is another plan, but we are trying to be fixated on the plan that we think that we are here to create. And actually, this is where the ego starts to push us away from actually the reason why we are here. The more that we understand that we've come in with a plan, the more we realize that we actually don't have to technically make any decisions. We just have to relax and step back and surrender to what is coming into our space in order to understand what the plan is. But this is so different from the way that we are grown up and the way that we've been given this way of life. This way of life has always been required to use your mind, whereas at the moment, what we are experiencing is a different feeling. It's a feeling rather than thinking, and this feeling is more attuned to the power that is needed in order for us to let go of these old systems that are breaking currently, which aren't being released in the news just yet because they don't want to scare people. But they're realizing actually those in power, there's another energy or interference. Which is coming with the rebirth of the planet, no one else, but this is confusing them. And once it starts to confuse them and starts to let go of where we are heading, it's allowing us to come in with our own feelings on it and pushing into that feeling part of what humans are very, very good at, is to understand when something is right or is wrong. And there's many of us that continue to support this system, thinking that there is no other way, but however, there always is a way when you let go and surrender. But this is not what you're taught. And let's go back to that word of taught, meaning you were taught something, therefore you can unlearn, and use this time very wisely up into the running of the fire horse year to start unlearning those things that start to feel very, very icky and very, very sticky and don't make sense. Allow yourself to be in them, because what you're actually doing is making space for this new path that's to come in, where there is more union, more connection, and more understanding as to why you are here. And sometimes that can just be having a presence of understanding. Sometimes that is to be in role or in service to something. Sometimes it's just to be a good listener. Please do not put pressure on yourself to feel like you have to be actioning something right now. It's more that you're unlearning and listening to yourself that requires that attention in order for you to be able to construct the life and reality of how you want to live, but how you show up and help to conduct others in a way that feels more presence. So please do not be alarmed when everything starts to feel so alien to yourselves, because actually it was always alien to begin with. And there's no such thing as a disaster. That a word does not exist in this space, in this time, and where you are from on this earth planet. But what disaster is just an ending to something that should never have been there. So when you are facing these challenges of news and articles and media that's trying to disturb your attention from being focused on what is here and now, you can then understand that actually this is just a disaster, a thing that should be ending. We have to allow these endings to happen in order to allow this change to come in, because actually, who are we to say that it shouldn't end and it should always be this way, when actually all of us feel in our hearts that actually this is such a wrong way to live, and how we are striving to get back into this more harmonious way of living and being with the land, that everyone is so looking forward to not being so tied up to serve those that aren't serving us. And this is your time now to really be in this interlude of feeling what needs to be felt, but not having a rush to take action, because that is then coming into this I need to resolve something, when there's not actually anything to resolve. You just need to witness at the moment and feel. So don't get caught up in having to use your energy to make an action. Use your energy to feel and to witness, knowing that actually by your own frequency is what you are also allowing into your reality. We don't need a series of actioners. We do when the time is right. But in a world that is designed to take all your energy, rest, recuperate, allow yourself to top yourself up in these times of that sense of something's coming, but it's not quite here yet. Who is the person to tell you to rush? And as I'm kind of connecting into another energy now, so just bear with me. It's quite interesting how we need to start actually working with, as a message for those who are here, is to start working with symbolism and sacred geometry. There's actually something about this need to start working with this on the land, to allow a different type of energy just to come in. So what I'm seeing and what the vision has been sent to me to share with you today is actually, if you are out in a space, or working with the land, or even in your own homes, you can start to build energy grids. Okay, you can start to work with symbolism and start to work with creating energy centers to allow yourself to harness the energy of self in your own reality. But I am seeing this particularly in land where there's space to do this. So I'm hoping this message reaches those that are thinking or considering around symbolism, land, and placements of objects and placements of energy, because there's so much more that we can do in those spaces, is what I'm being told. We haven't quite touched the surface. We are slightly getting there with sound frequency, but we need shapes and sound. Can't just have sound without shapes, or shapes without sound, or symbolism. We need the two. There's also a very strong desire just to come into the heart daily now, because what we are starting to see is that when these events start to ramp up and try and design you from taking it away from your reality and your attention away from that, we do need to come into the heart more and more as a daily practice. So if you can just come into your heart and place your hand in your heart and just take a breath. This is actually really good practice to actually just staying inwards, not outwards, which they'll be designing for your energy to feed what they want to be creating. Okay. So just coming out of that space. Thank you. So lovely to connect with you all. And like I said, please just remember yourselves during this time and each other, and come into your heart, feel your body, and just really start to trust what is in here. And be easy on yourselves on that. Don't try and think, oh gosh, I've got to rush and, listen to my intuition. Take your time. No one's rushing you. There's no rules. No one's rushing you, okay? Take your time, be easy with yourself. Start to work with how you work. Start to use your voice. Start to feel into things. And I'll be back soon next week. But if you enjoy staying in touch and resonate these messages, like and subscribe, and let's stay on the journey together. Bye for now.